We were going to talk about how to maximize your on-court experience when playing with players that are not quite at your same level.
It's really interesting because people want to always play with people that are better than them. But when you're a higher level amateur player, like we are, 4.5 level, there aren't that many people at our tennis clubs that are higher level than we are. So we do end up playing with people that are 4.0, 3.5, 3.0. What do you do to maximize your experience while you're playing people that are not as good as you are?
Well, first of all, I want to make sure that everyone has fun. That's the reason that we're out there. And it's not just our situation that results in that. There's lots of circumstances in which people can find themselves on the court with people that are at a different level. Maybe they're relatives, maybe they're friends that you like to spend time with, and tennis is an activity that you can share together. But when you're trying to also be a competitive tennis player and you want to play leagues, you want to play tournaments, every moment that you're on the court, you want to do something to improve your game. And for me, I find that if I just try to play my best and play hard, it's not going to be as much fun for everyone on the court because either my shots are going to go in and we're going to dominate, or I'm going to miss a lot and be inconsistent going for too much, and it's still not going to be fun. So everything starts by making sure that the people on the court are going to have the best time possible.
Yeah, and we can learn while we're having fun too. So, one of the things I do is I give the opponent their favorite shot so that they can give me their best shot back as well. So, people sometimes love being on the court with me because they don't realize that I'm giving them a high forehand every time because they, like me, don't bend their knees very well. And so they love those high balls that come to their forehand. And so they're hitting their best shot against me, which gives me a little bit more of a challenge. Can I win the point by drop shotting or hitting to their backhand? Yes. But if I give them their best shot, then it's really challenging for me. We did play against some people today that have some great volleys and overheads. And so I popped up a lob and here came the overhead. And, I had to quickly get it back. And it was super fun. And actually, it makes people feel good as well if they play really well against higher level players. It makes them feel good and makes them feel happy too.
Absolutely. And for me, there's a game within the game when you're doing those types of things. And when I step on the court, anticipating the situation that we're talking about today, there's two immediate goals that I have in mind. The first, do not be condescending. You don't want the people on the other end to feel that you're just floating it back to them because you don't think that they can handle anything more than that. So that's goal number one. And then goal number two for me, I really like to extend points for as long as possible in these situations so that everyone gets a chance to hit the ball as many times as possible during the match. So for me, it's a learning process as even as we're warming up and then when we start playing, finding the shot or the selection of shots that allow the other player to get the ball back, but don't allow them to hit a winner. Or sometimes you're playing with a partner that's also at a lower level, and I don't want to get my partner smashed either. So finding that perfect shot where they're going to be able to hit an effective shot, but they're not going to be able to hurt my partner and they're not going to be able to hit a winner off of it, just so that we can maximize that point and extend the rallies as much as possible. I love that little game within the game.
Yeah, that's really fun. It's really interesting because when we are playing against two people who are a couple levels lower than us, they often want to split us up because they think, "Oh, you guys are too good and we should split up and have one of you." But the truth is they have much more fun when we're on the same side of the court, right?
Yeah, that seems to work out the best in a lot of cases because we have this plan in mind, and they can be trying to, win every point, and then it's our job to make sure that we don't feed them that ball that allows them to hit the winner. where we don't give them the easy volley when they're right on top of the net, but still, again, not patronizing them, not, condescending way that we hit our shots.
It's super fun because when the points are long, for me, that's real tennis. That's real doubles. When there's a serve and then a return and then a couple cross courts and then we make our way in and then maybe someone tries to hit a passing shot and then we get it and it pops up and then there's a smash and then we dig that out. I mean, it's just so much fun. Today, for instance, we had such long points. I was exhausted. We played for an hour and a half, and I was in the jacuzzi going, I need a nap.
Exactly. That's when you know you did it right.
Yeah, it was
you know
super fun.
and depending on the fitness of your opponents and their mobility, moving them around with a lob, maybe a drop shot that is something that they can get to, but again, that they can't hit a winner off of, moving people around the court, being moved around the court yourself, because again, a lot of times you're giving them their favorite shot. So they're going to hit something effective back, but you're just trying to make sure that it's not something that can hit a clean winner on. They might be running you around the court because of the shots that you hit that allow them to do that. That's also a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really, really love playing matches like that because I get great practice. It's kind of an act of generosity a little bit, being able to be on the court with somebody that you're much better than. We're on the court sometimes with people that are much better than us, like, Ann White, for instance, at our tennis club. I mean, she's a Wimbledon pro tennis player, but being on the court with her, it's just fantastic. So it's really nice being the other way around as well, where we're able to really play good tennis and give someone a really good time.
Exactly. So we're going to make sure that we're not being condescending. All right. We're going to make sure that everyone has a lot of fun, and we're going to extend the rallies as far as we can. So now the part where you get to work on your game and improving your tennis is by executing those things and making every shot exactly the way that you intended. You're probably never hitting all out. Like me, I'll never hit a flat serve in any of those types of matches. They're all topspin or kick serves. But I try to pick a really specific target and a very specific amount of arc that I want to have on it. Today, I was working on a little bit more of a sideways kick, which I rarely hit in matches. So being able to practice that in a competitive situation is a real benefit, because the more of those that you hit, the more reliable it's going to be, the more you're going to trust it when you need to make that second serve in a more competitive match.
Yeah, and in the match today, I love to lob, and I just decided, listen, it's not like I didn't want to ever lob, but 50% less lobs today. So I focused more on hitting more topspin shots or slicing more and not just immediately defaulting to the lob every time I was in trouble or every time I wanted to do something aggressive, because my lob is aggressive for me.
Mhm.
It's something that kind of resets the point sometimes, but sometimes, if two people are at the net, obviously it can win the point too. So extending the point for me today was really fun, and just going ahead and hitting to you. If we were in a cross court rally, I didn't just look for the exit. I just thought, you know what? You and I hit 100, 150 balls cross court with each other. So I don't need to finish the point or change direction and get out of the situation. And just learning to emotionally and mentally be able to not panic and just say, I can hit another one and I can hit another one and I can, inside of a match.
Exactly.
So that was what I worked on today. It was super fun.
Oh, yeah. And another thing that I like to do is, along with the idea of hitting every shot exactly the way that I want to, is keeping the ball low. I find that both with slice and topspin, hitting what we call the dipper, that the practice that I get hitting that with the intent of extending a rally translates perfectly into a 4-5 level match to end points, depending on where the opponents are standing. That little cross court dipper when they crowd the middle a little bit, that's the exact same shot, but using the trajectory of the ball rather than the pace of the ball to win the point and make sure that if they do touch it, it's going to be well below the top of the net so that they're forced to hit it up, allowing us to control the point. So that is another thing that I can do against the lower level players that extends the point for them. But again, that exact same shot is super effective at the higher levels when the players are either out of position or you see that opening.
Yeah, the other thing I do as well is with serves. I do second serves usually for the whole match, but like you said, I practice the placement of it. I just say to myself, okay, I'm going to do a super short one, or I'm going to go down the tee, and it's a second serve, so I'm focused more on placement, but it's zero tolerance. There's no hitting the nets, there's no hitting long, and I really, really want to hit the spot that I chose. And it teaches my brain that, listen, the second serve has to go in because you don't want to double fault in tennis. So if I'm doing it on my first serve, I should get 100% of my first serves in because that's my practice. I'm practicing for a real match, a real tournament where I use that as my second serve and it cannot hit the net or go long.
That's exactly right. Another thing that I should be doing, but that I don't as much as I should, with the idea that, we don't spend enough time on the court to really, really say that we're going to be improving as fast, at least not as fast as I want to. I'm the person who would love to spend 4 or 5 hours a day on court, drilling, getting a couple of competitive sets in, really, really taking advantage of every moment to improve. And we don't always have that amount of time. So, another thing that would benefit my game, but that I'm a little too lazy to do, is to stay in match mode during it. It's a friendly, and so you can socialize, you can talk between points, you can on side changes and stuff. But when you flip that switch to when the toss goes up or when you're about to serve, then having that match mentality, that level of overall focus is something that I could do better in those friendly matches. I'm thinking about the individual shots, but only from a practice perspective instead of a match perspective. And that's a different thing.
Definitely. Well, I'm really happy that we had this chat today, and on to the next one.
Absolutely.
Love, love.
Love, love.